Wow, this is weird talking to a camera. So hello to whoever decided to watch this video. Yeah, I thought I would start a YouTube channel just talking about my life and vegan things, probably mainly. Maybe a bit on parenting and maybe a bit on breastfeeding, know a bit about that. But yeah, this video is gonna probably focus on why I'm vegan and my vegan story. I'll introduce myself properly. So my name is Phoebe, I am 23, I have a 2-year-old daughter called Ava Rain and a partner called Mark who is 34 on Friday. So there's just under 11 years between us, which works well. And what else is there about my life? We live in Leicestershire, like North Leicestershire. We've been together 4 years on October the 31st, Halloween. And I am basically a stay-at-home mum. I do between 8 and 12 hours a week at a restaurant, just evenings, which works really well for childcare because obviously Mark has her whilst I'm at work. So they're kind of like the basic boring bits about life. But we'll start with like the question that most people ask me when they first meet me, which is, why are you vegan? It's quite although it's becoming more popular, it's still, when you meet someone and you're not yourself vegan that is vegan, you're like, oh, why? So yeah, why am I vegan? It's not really a simple answer. Like, now I'm vegan for the animals. It's an ethical choice now, but initially it didn't really have anything to do with ethics. It wasn't really, well, I suppose it was, but my journey to veganism, which sounds so ridiculous, but it is a journey, was not, it wasn't like, oh, I'm vegan. It was a bit longer than that. So initially I was dairy free, but that wasn't really for ethics or for the environment or even for health. Like, not my health anyway. It wasn't like a conscious decision because I thought dairy is unhealthy. It was Ava had really bad eczema, like really, really bad. It was weeping and it was just so awful. It was all over her body, on her face, and it was just horrible. So we went to the doctors. This was when she really noticed her skin when she got to about, I'd say, between 3.5 and 4.5 months. She'd always kind of had like dermatitis and cradle cap and kind of the regular baby things like baby acne. And then it just didn't seem to ever go away and it just got worse. So we went to the doctors as you usually would, and all I got all the time was, it's just eczema, you had it, Mark had it, it's just hereditary, like she's gonna have eczema, it'll fade, it'll be a phase, she'll grow out of it. And I just didn't feel confident in that. The doctors I went to the doctors, I can't even tell you how many times, and they would just throw lotion and creams after creams at me, and initially they might work a little bit, like superficially, and then it would just come back worse sometimes. So I just, this can't be right. It cannot just be she has eczema and that's it. Like, there's got to be more to it. So I did a bit of research, some independent research. I asked a few questions on like some mum groups on Facebook, and the underlying thing that everyone was saying it was it sounds like a cow's milk allergy. And I was like, oh right, okay. Well, how do I fix that? And let me just clear up, cow's milk allergy is totally different to a lactose intolerance. A lactose intolerance can be intolerance to any type of milk. It's not just cow's milk, because lactose is a type of sugar that's found in like even female breast milk. So, sorry, human breast milk. So a cow's milk allergy is specific to the proteins in cow's milk. So yeah, it made sense. I mean, all the symptoms were there for Ava. It was her skin, all sorts of different things. If you don't like gross things and mummy things, she had, you know, don't listen to this bit, but she had really terribly explosive nappies and green poo, like green poo. And the doctors would always be like, oh, green poo's on the normal spectrum, it's fine. That's probably because the majority of people either formula feed their children or have dairy themselves, so the child is going to have green poo, and so it's normal, which isn't biologically normal. Like, you're not supposed to have green poo. So that was a bit of a red flag. But yes, so initially, let's get back to the original topic. I went dairy free for Ava, and it didn't seem to work. I didn't really know enough about it, to be fair, like initially. I tried being dairy free and not very well at that, like I'd have a little bit here and there, so not very well, for about 2 weeks, and it just didn't seem to work. I didn't really know enough about it, so I just thought, well, it can't be that then. So I just went back to eating a little bit more dairy than, I mean, I was never a big dairy lover anyway, but a bit more, so I'd have like chocolate and like a margarine that had buttermilk in and stuff. And then I came across a video called Dairy is Scary, and I just thought, that is just awful. It's a very intense video. Like, I don't think every single farm on the planet is like that, but it still doesn't diminish the fact that eating and drinking dairy products is really bad, in my opinion. So yeah, I saw that video, and it was just, I just couldn't fathom that that's what happened. Like, you just think, oh, it's a cow and you get milk and it's all nice, and it just isn't like that. Like, even on the nicest farm, it's still taking a baby from a mother, or just taking something from a mother that they don't want to give you. Like, it's not for us to drink. So that kind of sunk into me, and it kind of grossed me out that there's pus in milk. Like, no one wants to drink that. Just the fact that milk is for a baby calf, for a baby cow, it's just stupid that we drink it. So yeah, so the dairy thing was first, and we were already initially kind of cutting down on our meat consumption, and we'd kind of have a lot of vegetarian meals. We'd eat quite a bit of corn. I didn't really like mincemeat anyway, so we would have like corn mince and corn chicken, and a lot of fish. Like, I did eat a lot of fish. And then if we had like any special meals, I might have like some type of red meat. And then I decided that I didn't want to eat that anymore, so I was pescatarian and dairy free for a short period of time, maybe a week, 2 weeks. And then I was part of some vegan Facebook groups, and I kept hearing about this documentary Earthlings, and I thought I would give it a go one day. I think I was just sat in bed feeding Ava or something, and Mark was still at work, and I put it on. It's on YouTube, so if I can find out how to link it, I'll link it somewhere and you can go check it out. Yeah, so Earthlings, the documentary, it's very intense and very upsetting, but definitely worth watching if you consume these products, because that's the least you can do, is watch what happens to these animals. So yeah, we watched this. I started watching, I think I watched like 15-20 minutes of it without Mark, and I was just like, this is torture, this is terrible. I can't watch this without him. I mean, he's got to see this. Because Mark was kind of the opinion with the dairy ethicalness. He was on board, but he was kind of like, I won't have it at home, but if we're out or if we're at my mum's or wherever, I'll have dairy. Which I was, it's not my place to say whether he should or shouldn't. So we watched this Earthlings together, and we were both very touched and moved and emotional about the whole thing. I was just immediately like, that's it, I'm vegan. Like, I can't justify it, even with fish, which I do to this day still miss fish. I just can't justify it. It's not, they feel pain, they're an animal, they in some cases have a more acute feeling of pain, and different pain to how we feel it. So I just couldn't justify it, especially because we don't need it to survive. Like, there is an abundance of different choices that are still delicious. I mean, you can make everything that you're used to, but vegan. So yeah, it was an overnight decision. It was like, that's it. We're not going to buy any more non-vegan products. We had like a few bits of fish left in the freezer, maybe some mayonnaise, and just things like, or like different products like crisps or whatever that have like hidden dairy in, maybe some cakes or whatever. I just couldn't eat. I think the only thing that I continued to eat until it was gone was mayonnaise. and maybe like one egg we had left over, and I think I had that for breakfast the next day, just because I didn't want to waste it. But in hindsight, I mean, after eating it, I was like, oh, no, that's gross. Like, I wish I hadn't eaten that. And we just kind of became obsessed with watching, maybe me more so obsessed with watching things, not necessarily cruelty videos, but just different speeches from vegan activists. So Gary Yourofsky's The Best Speech You'll Ever Hear, or it's called something like that, on YouTube. And that just reinforced it for us. We watched that. In fact, Mark quite enjoyed watching that as well. And there was just different things that we would watch just to kind of fuel our knowledge, I suppose, so that if we were asked questions, wow, that candle's going for it. If we were asked questions, we would know how to answer them, and not just from the ethical point of view, but also from the environmental side and from the health side, because I think that when you are vegan, you do need to fuel yourself with more knowledge than your average Joe, because you're going to be asked questions that you probably should know the answer to, and you're going to look a bit stupid if you're like, oh, I don't know, I just love animals. Like, yeah, it's great to love animals, it's not a stupid thing, but people don't necessarily relate to that, or they can't. That's not a grounds to base your health off, really. So now we've both been vegan for maybe 18 months. So yeah, like, no, maybe more than a year and a half. Maybe like, yeah, maybe about 18 months, I would say. And it's been great. Like, I just haven't missed, other than fish, which I will probably always miss. Other than fish, not missed anything. Like, I love cooking, so that does help. But we just eat normal food. Like, a lot of the time people are just like, but what do you eat? Like, what? Like, everything else that you eat, just without the meat, the dairy and the fish and the eggs. Like, it's really easy. It's an adjustment period. Like, it probably took me like a month or so to get used to reading labels and that kind of thing, but it wasn't difficult. It was really quite fun. Like, I didn't miss chocolate, really. I just kind of replaced like a chocolate bar, like Galaxy, because I like Galaxy chocolate or whatever. I replaced that with just like a chocolatey biscuit, so I ate Oreos all the time, and not that that's a healthy thing to do, but just to replace the craving for whatever I fancied. Or I'd make, because vegan chocolate brownies are the easiest thing to make, and they are, I've had non-vegans tell me, they are more delicious than your standard brownie. So just saying, try them out. If I can find a decent recipe, I mean, I don't use a recipe, I just kind of bang everything in and hope for the best, and it's usually gooey and delicious and chocolatey and sugary and really bad for you. But if I can find a decent vegan recipe for brownies, again, I'll link it somewhere. So yeah, I just I initially we kind of went a bit kind of like, let's go really healthy and crazy and try all these different recipes, and that was definitely fun, and it was a good way of kind of having some staples in what you'd go to for your everyday meal. But now we just eat normal food like everybody else. We have roasts quite a lot, so the same as what you would have, just without the chicken, and make sure that you've got vegan gravy, which Bisto original red packaging gravy is vegan friendly. So have your mash, your roasties, sweet potato, asparagus, broccoli, whatever veg, carrots, parsnips, whatever you want on your plate. Some stuffing, Paxo stuffing is vegan. That's great. I mean, if you want meat replacements, Linda McCartney sausages or Linda McCartney pies, they're great. And then gravy, and it's delicious, and you don't need to put a dead animal on your plate. Like, it's just so simple. And if you can't afford the processed foods like Linda McCartney, which aren't great for you, I mean, no, by no means they are better for you than, you know, the animal version, but you just don't need it. I mean, we don't really eat processed food very much now, just kind of when we fancy it, but we don't buy it as a staple like you would buy sausages. Like, we mainly live off like a whole foods plant-based diet with a lot of donuts, big co-op donuts. And lots of Oreos. But no, mainly we just live off like what the earth gives to us, I suppose. So yeah, roasts, we eat a lot of chili, like do a really nice black bean and kidney bean chili, which is really good. lots of veggie pasta dishes, like fajitas, just anything I mean, it's just so easy. Pizza, this is one thing people are like, oh yeah, but I love cheese. I can't be like, oh, I miss cheese or whatever, because I never really was a big dairy eater. Like, I didn't really like, I never ate cheese unless it was on pizza. I didn't like butter. I would have like creamy desserts, I suppose, but it wasn't like a big staple in my life. I wasn't madly obsessed with cow's milk. Like, I didn't really like, I would never drink like a glass of milk. I would have it on my cereal or in my tea or my coffee. And it's so easy to find replacements for milk. Like, there are about 8 or 9 different plant milks, so you're gonna like one of them. Everyone is different, so a lot of people are like, oh, what tastes the closest to cow's milk? Nothing is gonna taste the closest to cow's milk. Like, it's not cow's milk, so it's not gonna taste the same. What tastes like the most pleasant flavour to me is oat milk. It's easy to find as well. It's in most shops. You can't taste it, I don't think. I think the only thing that I would say it tastes slightly like is it makes your tea or your coffee taste slightly porridgey, which isn't unpleasant. Not necessarily. I can't taste it now. Initially I could, like, it's adjustment period. You can't just initially taste it and be like, oh yeah, that's great. Like, I did like it. We tried lots of different ones. We tried almond milk and coconut milk, and I think that was it initially. I didn't like either of those initially. I like them both now. Like, I quite happily have almond milk or coconut milk now. Tried hemp milk. Hemp milk's quite nice. It's got quite an acquired taste to it. I wouldn't buy it all the time, but it's very healthy, and it's... So I think I'm going to have to cut the video short because my phone is just not working very well. It just doesn't want to record. But yeah, I think I got to just about milk. Basically, you just need to try as many different products as possible if you are wanting to go vegan. Watch as much as possible, inform yourself. That's it, basically. Obviously, if you have any questions, like, message me on Instagram. I'm not on Facebook, but on Instagram you can direct message me or leave some comments down here, and I am happy to reply and help anyone that's interested in wanting to go vegan. But yeah, we'll see how this video goes. I'm kind of just doing this for fun, see if anyone's interested in knowing things. I thought this t-shirt was appropriate. Go vegan, baby. Fight in the soul shine. So yeah, I think I'm going to leave it there. Go and edit this thing, put it on the YouTube thingamabob, and see if people like the video. If you do, I don't want to be one of those people, but if you do, if you could give it a thumbs up and maybe subscribe if you want to see some more things. I think I might do this once or twice a week. I don't really know. Just going to be doing general things. It's not always going to be vegan stuff. It might be like I said earlier, it might be parenting, it might be breastfeeding, it might be general views on different topics. Could do some day in the life vlogs. Who knows? I might do Vlogmas. But yeah, if you liked it, like I said, just do all the bits and bobs. I'll leave some links for different things down in the bottom in the description. And yeah, thanks for paying an interest in this video, and thanks for watching. I will see you again next time.